neighbors, welcome to the March 2026 How's the Market Update. This month we're looking at the 5 different areas in our market that we monitor and ranking them against each other in terms of least to most competitive. I'm also just going to give you some general thoughts on what I'm seeing in the market this month, so let's go ahead and jump in. Okay, we are officially kicking off the spring season here in Birmingham. We are seeing more and more listings come on the market month over month so far this year across the board in all of our areas. So number of listings going up, number of homes you're going to see on the market slowly increasing, pretty much does every year. We are seeing across the board in our entire MLS months of inventory steadily going up, and we are squarely in a balanced market with about 6 months of inventory across the entire Greater Alabama MLS. That lines up very closely with the big nationwide picture of the real estate market, pretty much directly in a balanced market, not a seller's market, not a buyer's market. In fact, we can look at this graph of our Greater Alabama MLS over the last 4 years, and you can see 4 years ago, March, we were sitting at 2 months of inventory. Then the market began to balance out, and today we're sitting at right about 6 months of inventory. You can see every winter you have that spike in amount of inventory, and then it comes back down and resets for where it's going to be the next year. So for the last 4 years, we've slowly increased amount of inventory. That being said, that's the overall picture of our MLS. In these local smaller niche markets, Mountain Brook, Homewood, Vestavia, Hoover, zooming in on those, we see a market that continues to be very competitive, and months of inventory is not going up to 6. We are not getting back to a balanced market in those areas. We are seeing other aspects that are getting more and more balanced. We're seeing days on market go up. We're seeing sale to list price ratio stay around 100, not be around 105%, 110%. We're seeing it be at 100 or maybe a little bit less. So on average, sellers getting right at what they're listing for, sometimes a little bit less. These are things that indicate the market is becoming more balanced in different ways, but in terms of months of inventory, we continue to see 2 months of inventory or less in Mountain Brook, Homewood, Vestavia, and Hoover. So in terms of the number of homes listed for sale versus how quickly they're being bought, these market areas remain very competitive, even as the overall market goes more towards a traditional balanced market in terms of months of inventory. So enough said on that, beating a dead horse. Let's go into looking at these 5 different market areas compared to each other in terms of least to most competitive. The first metric we're going to look at is just median sales price. So starting out, single family homes sold in March, median sales price in downtown Birmingham, the lowest number, $399,000. That is followed by Hoover, with the median sales price being $454,500, followed by Homewood. $500,000 is the median sales price last month. Next to last is Vestavia, Liberty Park. Median sales price $577,500, and then topping us off is Mountain Brook with a median sales price of $862,500. The next metric we're looking at is median sold price per square foot. How much house do you get for your dollar? Now, the lowest dollar per square foot out of the list, the most house you're getting for your dollar, starting out with Hoover at $212 per square foot. Next is downtown Birmingham, $239 per square foot. That is followed by Vestavia, Liberty Park, $244 per square foot. Homewood, $307 per square foot. And finishing off is Mountain Brook with $381 per square foot. That is the least amount of house per dollar. Next, we are looking at sales to list price ratio. What percentage of the list price are homes selling for? And we're looking at median. So the lowest sale to list price ratio is Hoover, 99%. Next up is a tie between downtown Birmingham and Homewood. Both of those averaged out at 100% sale to list price. followed by Mountain Brook. Median sale to list price ratio last month was 104.6%. And then topping it off was Vestavia, Liberty Park, 105% sale to list price ratio. Pretty impressive. And that's what I'm saying. Kind of sounds like a seller's market, 105%. The next number, next to last metric we're looking at is average days on market, number of days from a property being listed to going under contract. First up, with the highest days on market, the slowest moving, downtown Birmingham, 76 average days on market, followed by Vestavia, Liberty Park, 53 average days on market. Next is Hoover with 42 average days on market. Next to last is Mountain Brook, 35 average days on market, and the fastest moving out of all these last month was Homewood with an average days on market of 23. The last metric we're going to look at is months of inventory. Like I was saying, downtown Birmingham is sitting at 7.1 months of inventory. That is very, very balanced. That is borderline buyer market number. Next up in terms of months of inventory is Hoover, sitting at 2.5 months of inventory, followed by Homewood, 2 months of inventory. Vestavia, Liberty Park has currently 1.7 months of inventory, and then finishing us off with the least amount of houses for sale relative to buyer demand is the city of Mountain Brook with 0.8 months of inventory. Very strong seller market number there. So that's March of this year. If you're curious about any of those numbers for where you live here in Birmingham, please let me know. It's shaping up to be an interesting spring. April and May, I'm curious what it's going to look like relative to the last few years, because rates are going to be, I think, lower than they have been for the last few years. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I hope this was helpful, and I'll talk to you all next month.